What's up, guys? So today, before I get into the commentary of this video, I wanted to quickly say thank you so much for the support that I received for the last two videos as we went on that crazy 17 win streak with that Galvantula team. Since then, after I made that video, I started seeing more and more Galvantulas out, so I made this team here as a counter to that team. And of course, as soon as we go into that, we don't really see any more Galvantulas as we head up to the higher leagues. But that being said, this video is going to be able to highlight something else that I think is very important to this game, which is the switch timer. So coming in here, first match, I matched up my Whiscash with this Galarian Stunfisk, so great lead here. We're definitely going to stay in. And he's going to stay in here. Seems like he's going to throw the Earthquake, and we're just going to go ahead and soak this. So this video is going to primarily focus a lot on how I play myself and my play style of how I choose certain Pokemon to soak up certain charge moves, and how I'm able to use the switch timer to catch charge moves, which I notice in the lower leagues a lot of people don't do. And that mechanic will be able to help you flip a lot of matchups. So here I let my Whiscash go down, bring back in my Ferrothorn, and it's a pretty good matchup. Neutral really for both sides. I do take resisted to the Dragon Breath, even though it is still going to hurt. And of course the Sky Attack is coming in neutral. But what I'm trying to do here is throw the Flash Cannon and get the shield or do the damage, and then soak in his charge move, and then bring in my own Altaria so that I can guarantee winning up this mirror match, because he had so much energy charged up. I decided to shield this. He brings in his Cresselia, so this is pretty bad news for me here. And at this point in the game, it is kind of a losing matchup for me. So I'm gonna throw the Sky Attack, it goes shielded. Here I know for a fact that this is going to be a Moonblast, counting his charge moves. So I shield this, fortunately do not get the debuff, and I am going to work up here to my charge moves, but if you notice, I am going to not fire them off on purpose. Moonblast comes in, does not take us out. We're noticing the switch timers coming up. I'm charging all the way up to a Dragon Pulse, switching out immediately to be able to catch this charge move. And this right here is what flipped this match from being a losing match to a potential win for me. So now I have a win condition. I'm going to fire off the Flash Cannon, and it's going to do about half health of this Altaria. My Ferrothorn comes down, but in comes in my own Altaria with loaded energy. So coming back in here, firing off a Sky Attack, taking it out, and then before he's able to fire off his charge move, I go for another Sky Attack and pick up the game. So even though that was going to be a losing matchup for me, just that play with the Ferrothorn and Altaria, saving the energy and then catching the charge moves, and reading my opponent's playstyle, I was able to take a match that I was supposed to lose and end up winning with it. So again, it's more or less thinking about what Pokemon do I want to soak up certain charge moves with, and which ones do I want to align my own charge moves with. So in comes here, we have a great lead again. He brings in the Swampert. So notice here that I do make the choice of bringing in Altaria as opposed to Ferrothorn, just because I knew that I could come out of this matchup without having to shield, and I would be able to preserve my Ferrothorn down the line for something else, so that I wouldn't ever have any chance of matching up the Ferrothorn with the Fire Fang Shadow Mawile. So he takes the charge move, he comes back in with the Shadow Mawile. So our Dragon Breath is heavily resisted, but Sky Attack is going to be doing still a good bit just because of how squishy Shadow Mawile is. He ends up going here for the Power Up Punch, so it's going to give him the boost and give him enough firepower to take me out without having to fire off his own charge move. So we're in a good position because I'm able to now bring in the Whiscash to be able to soak up any damage of that Shadow Mawile. So we're going in here, working up to a Mud Bomb, and if this Mud Bomb lands, then it is going to take out this Mawile. So my opponent chooses not to shield here and brings in a Hypno. So we are actually in a very good position here just because we are up shields and I am up energy on this Whiscash, so I'm able to pressure his shields pretty hard just because that Shadow does take more damage. So I fire the second one off, get the shield, come back in with Ferrothorn, and just go ahead and shield here, and at this point I can just work up to a Power Whip and take out that Hypno without having to worry about his own charge moves. So there, again, it's like kind of, even though I had certain choices against that Swampert, I'm thinking of more of a long game and which Pokemon I want to align with towards the end game, as opposed to just matchup by matchup. And this team does really well against Galvantula. Each and every one of these Pokemon does have play against that, so I'm hoping to be able to get some matchups soon where I do see that Galvantula and be able to show you how it can counter it. So coming in here again, we are getting another pretty good lead with the Stunfisk. We do come out on top on this matchup, of course. If he does land the Earthquake, it does do quite a lot of damage, but the main goal of this Whiscash is to take something out like a Steel type. So if it can take out that Stunfisk, it has already done its job. So I'm not committing any shield to this. I want to take that damage. In comes the Azumarill, and we're going into Ferrothorn. So this is great. Ice Beam is going to hit for neutral, but Bubble Beam, Hydro Pump, and Play Rough are all resisted. So in comes the Ice Beam, and we're just able to go for the Power Whip. And Power Whip should do about half health, a little bit more. So here I am counting their charge moves and knowing that there's no way for me to catch up to a Power Whip before he fires off his Ice Beam. So I'm just going to go ahead and soak it and try to farm down. And I believe I am successful at this. So at this point we are good because we are pretty heavily loaded on energy. And whatever he brings in the back line, I'm able to probably take some shields or do some massive damage on it. So he brings in the Gunfisk. So, and I get the shield, which is really better than I thought. And I'm able to fire back-to-back Power Whips. He switches in Machamp, and then we just go right into Altaria, and this is about game. So if you notice here for these Shadow Machamp matchups, I do have to commit the shield, but with Altaria, if they fire off a Rock Slide and you are able to shield it, they cannot get to another Rock Slide before you knock them out. So if you can shield the first Rock Slide, you can just straight farm them down without having to worry about shields. So in here, I decide to make a sack swap into my Whiscash, counting that, and we catch the Rock Slide, able to farm down, and in comes Glaring Stunfisk, and we just farm that down too. So again, it's more or less getting used to counting charge moves for different Pokemon, getting used to all of that so you know when an opponent has the potential of firing off certain charge moves, and then you can make the prediction of that. With the new mechanics, it's a little bit hard to do sack swaps because you almost have to preemptively guess. Like for an Azumarill, if they're firing off an Ice Beam, you're guessing that, you're gonna have to actually switch out right after barely the 4th bubble to be able to catch the Ice Beam on the 5th one. It's a weird mechanic. So here comes in an Azumarill. So if you notice, my team is pretty weak against Azumarill unless I line up that Ferrothorn. So he swaps out to Shadow Machamp, so we're doing good here. And this is what I'm talking about. So I have to respect the potential Rock Slide here. I get it, and then I'm able to just farm him down. So I get the charge move, I'm obviously not gonna fire it off. And I know because of counting charge moves, this has to be a cross chop. So we're good there, able to take out the Machamp. And now we're in a good position against this Azumarill. So we've flipped that matchup. And because we have back-to-back Sky Attacks we can get to before that Ice Beam. And the good thing is that Azumarill cannot farm us down, so it has to fire off the Ice Beam before Altaria is taken down. So the next Pokemon coming in, being the Ferrothorn, is at a very good position to just farm up energy. So here I have known that he has the Ice Beam, probably the Hydro Pump, In comes the Superior. So this is the first one I've seen this season. And able to fire off the flash cannon, does a pretty large amount of damage. So here, counting charge moves, he is most likely firing off the Leaf Tornado. And it does give us a pretty heavy debuff, but his moves aren't doing any damage to us. So we're just going to comfortably farm up some damage, or some energy here. He fires off another one, so at this point it is getting a little bit annoying, just because we aren't doing that much damage to him anymore because of that debuff. And our switch timer is up, so the play here is that no matter what he does with this Superior, even though he has debuffed us 3 times over, the second the Azumarill comes in, I am swapping out and resetting that debuff, so that we don't have to worry about that anymore. And then, of course, we're just going to go ahead and soak up all the damage in our Wish Cache, and then come back in and comfortably take the game with Ferrothorn. So my opponent sees this right here and ends up calling it. So good game to my opponent there. It was definitely fun seeing the Superior, but that's one situation where you can handle getting out of debuffs. So this is the last set of 5 for these matches, and we are met with another Azumarill. So again, when I'm matched up with these, I like to figure out whether or not the Azumarill is running Ice Beam or Play Rough before I make a swap. So I am waiting for him to throw the charge move. And coming in at 5 bubbles, I know for a fact that it is the Ice Beam. So I'm going to soak that up and then go ahead and look to catch another Ice Beam. I believe that's the play. I'm going to try to look to catch an Ice Beam on the Ferrothorn. And we are successfully able to do that. And this, again, will take neutral so that I can save that Wish Cache down the line. That's something that is weak to it. So in comes a Abomasnow, which is one pretty heavy counter to this team. Unless I land the Flash Cannon, I can't take this thing out, because Power Whip is going to do very little because of how resisted it is. So unfortunately, he is able to farm me down. Wish Cache isn't going to be able to do anything to this, so I have to bring in Altaria and commit my shields. Unfortunately for me, not only is this Abomasnow loaded up on energy, but also these weather balls are coming back to back. So I have no choice but to shield here again and try to farm up as much as possible before firing a charge move. And he brings in a Azumarill. So not looking great for us. I am going to try to farm here. And then he brings back in his Abomasnow. I switch out the Wish Cache, reading that and knowing that he's going to throw the charge move. Weather Ball comes in. I was hoping it would take me out, but doesn't, and he's able to farm some more. And even if unless I was able to farm him down and get enough energy, I would have lost that. So great game, my opponent there. You can see how my playstyle is reading a lot of their movements and swapping to catch charge moves. But we do get a 4 and 1, so pretty good there. This team is going to be doing pretty well and is meant to be matched up with Galvantula. So again, I am hoping to get those matchups pretty soon so I can showcase that off. But definitely to improve gameplay, kind of start getting used to using that switch timer more. It's not always going to work, but in the times that it does, it'll definitely win you some games. So thank you guys for watching again. Please give us a like if you enjoy the content, and consider subscribing, because I have been putting out videos quite frequently for all the gameplay for Season 4. So thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!